On June 5, 2021, Gujarat Police Inspector Ajay Desai called his brother-in-law, Jaideep Patel, on the phone and asked, "Has Sweetie come to your place?" Jaideep, taken aback, replied, "No, brother-in-law, Sweetie hasn't come here." Jaideep then asked, concerned, "What happened? Is everything okay?" Inspector Ajay Desai explained, "Actually, Sweetie left the house sometime between 1 am last night and 8:30 am this morning. She left her mobile phone at home as well." Hearing this, Jaideep asked worriedly, "Brother-in-law, did you say something to Sweetie? Or was there a fight at home?" Ajay replied, "No, nothing like that. There was no fight at home, and I didn't say anything to her. But I don't know where she went without telling anyone." Jaideep then asked, "Brother-in-law, where is my nephew, Ansh?" Ansh was Sweetie's 2-year-old son. Ajay replied, "She left him at home too. I'm worried about where she might have gone alone. Ansh can't stay without his mother, and he's been crying continuously." Jaideep, feeling helpless, couldn't understand how his sister, Sweetie, could suddenly leave the house without informing anyone. He told Ajay, "Brother-in-law, you're a police inspector. Please find out something about Sweetie. I'll also try to gather information." Ajay ended the call, saying, "All right, let me know if you find out anything." The sudden disappearance of Sweetie left Jaideep deeply worried. He called a few relatives to inquire about her, but didn't get any information. Where had Sweetie suddenly gone? Or had someone made her disappear? Ajay Desai lived in the Parosa society in the Karjan area of Vadodara, Gujarat. He was a police inspector and had married Sweetie Patel in 2016. Their love story began in 2015 at a school program in Ahmedabad, where they first met and grew fond of each other. After a year-long relationship, they decided to marry and tied the knot in a temple. Sweetie had been married once before to Het Pandya, who lived in Australia. She had a daughter, Rhythm, from her first marriage, who now lived with Het in Australia and was 17 years old. After separating from Het, Sweetie married Ajay and had a son, Ansh, with him. Jaideep knew that Sweetie was happy with her second marriage, living with Ajay and their 2-year-old son, Ansh. But her sudden disappearance shocked him. Unable to visit Vadodara immediately, he kept asking Ajay about his sister over the phone, only to get disappointing responses each time. Jaideep couldn't understand what could have prompted his sister to leave without informing anyone. Sweetie was a well-educated, modern 37-year-old woman, and Jaideep saw no signs of her being unhappy or troubled in her marriage. Most importantly, Sweetie would never leave her 2-year-old son alone at home or go without her mobile phone, making it impossible to contact her. When Jaideep couldn't find any explanation for Sweetie's disappearance, he began calling relatives and acquaintances to inquire about Ajay and Sweetie's relationship. However, he didn't uncover anything that could explain why Sweetie had gone missing. Whenever Jaideep spoke to Ajay, he kept saying, "We are searching for her, but there's no news yet." When Jaideep suggested filing a police report, Ajay asked him to wait, citing concerns about the family's reputation. After several days without any updates, Jaideep finally traveled to Vadodara to meet his brother-in-law, Inspector Ajay Desai. He gathered all the details about Sweetie's disappearance. Ajay told him that on the night of June 4th, he had gone to bed with Sweetie in their room. The next morning, around 8:30 am on June 5th, when he woke up, she was gone. Sweetie was nowhere to be found. Her mobile was left in the room, and their son, Ansh, was asleep on the bed. Ajay informed Jaideep that even after searching the entire house, Sweetie was not found. Ajay then searched the nearby areas but still couldn't locate her. Jaideep tried to subtly gather information from Ajay, suspecting there might have been a quarrel between him and Sweetie. However, Ajay's responses gave no indication of any conflict. Ajay also mentioned that their son, Ansh, had been sent to a relative's house. Exhausted, Jaideep finally filed a missing person report for Sweetie at the Karjan police station in Vadodara on June 11th. Incidentally, Ajay had previously been posted at the same police station before being transferred to the Special Operation Group SOG in Vadodara district. After the report was filed, the police began a thorough search for Sweetie. Given that it was a case involving the disappearance of a police inspector's wife, the authorities left no stone unturned. They searched nearby forests, rivers, streams, and lakes for several days, but found no trace of her. The police also inspected unclaimed bodies in nearby hospitals and collected reports of unidentified corpses from police stations in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra. However, no clue about Sweetie emerged. Time passed, and despite trusting Ajay's statements, the police continued their extensive search for Sweetie. They used dog squads, drones, and even scoured railway tracks, but found nothing. After about a month, the police published news of Sweetie's disappearance in newspapers, hoping for leads. Unfortunately, this also yielded no results. As over a month passed without any breakthrough, discussions about the missing Sog police inspector's wife started circulating across Gujarat. Questions were raised about the police's competence, and the matter became increasingly challenging for the officials. Senior officers held daily meetings to explore different angles in the investigation, but to no avail. Ajay Desai, the inspector, was interrogated nearly 20 times. His flat was inspected repeatedly, over 100 CCTV cameras were reviewed, and Sweetie's mobile was analyzed, yet no leads surfaced. Neighbors and relatives were questioned multiple times, but they provided no significant information. The authorities were baffled. It seemed as though Sweetie had vanished without a trace. To rule out every possibility, the senior officers directed the investigation toward the angle of a potential romantic relationship. Ajay, along with Sweetie's neighbors and relatives, was interrogated to determine if Sweetie was involved with someone else. However, no evidence of any affair or romantic involvement was found. Still, the police continued their search. During July, some burnt human bones were discovered behind a building near Atari village, a little distance from Vadodara. Forensic experts confirmed that the bones were indeed human. This discovery heightened the police's suspicion of Inspector Ajay. He was subjected to more rigorous questioning, but he continued to maintain that his wife was missing. Finally, the senior police officers decided to conduct various tests to determine the truth behind Ajay's claims. In addition, a decision was made to conduct a DNA test to find the burned bones. The police first conducted a serious examination of Ajay at the Gandhinagar Forensic Laboratory. After that, the police sought permission from the court for his polygraph and narco tests. The DNA test of Sweetie's 2-year-old son Ansh was conducted to determine whether the recovered bones were Sweetie's or not. After obtaining permission from the court, the police also conducted Ajay's polygraph test, which lasted for 2 days. Meanwhile, the police also learned that it was possible that Sweetie may have gone to Australia to meet her son from her first marriage. In light of this possibility, the police questioned Sweetie's first husband, Tas Pandya, and her son over the internet. When the police questioned Tas Pandya about coming in contact with Sweetie and their subsequent separation, it came to light that Sweetie had told her son Ridham that she would come to Australia to meet him. But Sweetie never went to Australia. After Sweetie went missing, her first son Ridham began a campaign on social media from Australia to find his mother. However, despite using various techniques and conducting forensic investigations, no concrete evidence or clues were found. Days were passing, and almost a month and a half had passed since Sweetie's disappearance. It was still not clear whether she was alive or dead. Due to the growing criticism of the police, the Gujarat government handed over the investigation to the Ahmedabad Crime Branch in July. The crime branch officers then began the investigation afresh. The officers held a meeting to thoroughly review the investigation conducted so far. It was concluded that this was a domestic issue, and the truth could only be uncovered by questioning Sweetie's husband, Ajay, which required court permission for his narco test. However, Ajay refused the narco test, citing that he was mentally and physically unfit. Since Ajay was a police inspector and was aware of the flaws in the law and the limitations of police investigations, the police could not force him to undergo the test or interrogate him strictly. Ajay's refusal to undergo the narco test increased the crime branch officers' suspicions about him, leading the police to place a travel ban on him. After that, the crime branch team decided to investigate Ajay's house and inspect the site in Atali village, where human bones had been found. On July 23rd, the crime branch officers re-examined Ajay's flat in the Perry Society, where an experienced officer noticed blood stains in the bathroom after cleaning it with a chemical. Following this, the police intensified their investigation and questioned Ajay again to collect important evidence. The police solved the mystery of Sweetie's disappearance after 49 days, Revealing the truth on July 24, 2021. The police confirmed that Sweetie Patel had been murdered and was no longer alive. The police arrested her husband, Ajay Desai, and his friend, Kirat Singh Jisha, in connection with the murder.